Well, welcome to another edition of Nostalgia Alley. How would you like to find cash in your closet? We have the man that can do it for you. It's Joe Zanfrilli, did I get it right?
That's right, yeah, exactly.
Who is a member of eBay, a connoisseur of eBay. eBay, as we know, is this wonderful thing where everybody can sell anything that they want to get rid of.
Essentially, yes. Yeah.
And essentially, you got your collectors, your antique people, people who are looking for something, and they really don't want to pay a retail price.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my big question, Joe, is this. Everybody uses eBay thousands of times, tens of thousands of times a year. No one knows what is eBay. Who started eBay? What's eBay all about?
Well, I mean, to go back to the very beginning, the fellow's name was Pierre Amajar. In 1995, he was a code writer and did some work with Apple, and he would dabble online. And this is before the concept of selling things online really took off. And he had an idea. He had a little website that he was using, not doing much with it. He had a theory. He had what he started with, and this is some of the urban legend, but he had a broken laser pointer, and he said, let me see what I can do to put this online. Maybe somebody in the world might be interested in this. And he put it online, and sure enough, somebody bought it for $14.83.
Pretty good.
So he said, maybe I'm onto something here. And so he put a few more things. It started to perpetuate. In 1996, he brought another gentleman in, Jeff Kroll, I believe it was, and to do more of the marketing, and he had some background in it. And from there, it got bigger and bigger. By 1996, 1998, they went public. And from 95 to 98, both of them were, at that point, went public, were billionaires on paper.
Billionaires.
Yeah, on paper.
A laser pointer, from a laser pointer to a billionaire.
$14 laser piece.
It's amazing.
But the original website was called Auction Web. And he changed that, and everybody wonders, where did eBay come from, the word? And it's actually his first little consulting company they had was called Echo Bay in San Francisco. And from Echo Bay, it turned into eBay to make it easier. And that's the short end. That's the short story for how it started.
So all the urban legends are dead. This
That's
is
the way
the
it
facts of eBay.
That's the way I understand it also.
Now, tell me a little about yourself and how you got involved in eBay, because I know you help a lot of people out who can't figure out the computer and how to do it, and I'm one of these guys. You know, if I can turn the computer on and off, I'm happy.
Well, that's where we come in. That's where I come in. Well, from the beginning of interest, back a good 15 years ago or so, my son, who's now his early 30s, but then he was in early high school, like a freshman or something, and he was, all of a sudden, I would see money coming in, checks in the mail. I said, what's going on? At the time, he worked at a golf club. What he was doing was finding the discarded golf balls, cleaning them up, putting them in bits, in groups, and putting them online.
No laser pointers.
No, he didn't do laser. He went
Okay.
beyond that. And he was putting them on this crazy thing called eBay and selling them. And I said, well, this is an interesting idea. It kept him busy, and he was building a little thing. And then all of a sudden, we started putting some of his school books on because he didn't know what to do with the school books, and that began to sell. Pretty soon, we had over 3,500 books online.
Wow.
And it was fun. It was a good learning process for him and myself also, and it helped him put through college, actually. So that's how we started. And I had other businesses during that time, but I always kept my hand in.
What was your background before you hit eBay?
I've run a number of different businesses in marketing and distribution and in manufacturing, sales, and different businesses. Started in the music business and had different things from there. But I've always had run my own businesses. And when this particular business, Cash in Your Closet, became available to me, I saw eBay had a big future. And I was kind of in between businesses, so I jumped on that. It was in Millburn, and I've recently moved out of Millburn. Now I'm in South Orange. I moved into my house in South Orange. But it kind of grew from collectibles to everything you can imagine. Over the last 9 years, I've probably done about 20,000 auctions or so.
20,000
I would say at least,
auctions.
yeah. I mean, because it's
Wow.
running all the time.
You're not going to auction me off, are you?
I haven't done a human yet.
Okay.
A lot of wives,
I'm safe.
a lot of husbands have asked about wives, but I haven't found a niche for that yet.
Now, you've done 20,000. That's a lot of stuff.
Give or take a few thousand, yeah.
What is some of the unusual things that
Yeah.
you have been involved with?
That's been asked so many times. It's funny because after that many, nothing seems to be unusual anymore, you know. But I've done things from A to Z, basically, from, let's say, Apple computers to zithers, you know, and xylophones, A to X, and everything between. We've done cars and boats and motorcycles and a lot of collectible items, and a lot of those were very rare. A lot of artwork that we've done over the years, and just about anything you can think of, we've probably handled.
What's one of the rarest things you ever auctioned off
Well-
that got you the most money? I mean,
The highest value.
highest
Well, the cars.
value
We
or-
did a lot of high-end cars, you know, the BMWs and the Porsches and that sort of thing that we've done online, and boat and motorcycles. But we've done a lot of things like jewelry, of course, the high-end watches, the Rolexes and the Breitlings, and if I may name brands.
oh, absolutely.
We do a lot of high fashion, women's fashion items. A lot of the business is designer handbags and things like that, and some of those.
With the
right
Coach
up there.
bags and all of the
Coach,
high-end.
Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, all of the big
Gucci.
names, the Balenciagas, and some of those, some of the rare ones get up into tens of thousands of dollars each,
Wow.
which we've done. Recently, we were marketing just as an interest, was a Gucci travel bag, which was all crocodile, and there was only 100 of them made,
Mm.
and a very rare piece. That was a very nice.
What'd
high-end
something
one.
like that go for?
The original selling retail price was $28,000 for the bag,
$28,000.
and in the resale market.
Does that
it's
come with a
still-
crocodile or is
Yeah,
that
you
extra?
can have your pet crocodile with it. It came with a leash. That was the retail price. We were selling that for about half of that.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, with eBay,
Mm-hmm.
how is this affecting the collectible and the antique market?
Okay.
Because it's all changed as a result of
It has
eBay and
changed.
Craigslist. And
eBay and the consequential, subsequent other websites that have developed with that platform, with that idea, there's many of them. eBay's still the largest platform. You have, on an average day, maybe 2 million people around the world that are actually buying and selling on eBay. But Amazon, and there's other ones also. But to answer your question, the size of eBay right now is there's about 30,000 employees at eBay
wow.
in San Francisco, or in California. And they have offices around the world also now. What it has done, though, it's changed commerce as we knew it. We're now to the point where the retail industry are needing to jump on board to stay viable.
Mm.
The people use retail outlets now just to look at merchandise and go home and buy it online.
Mhm.
Because you can see, instead of just seeing one of that item, of that toaster, let's say, you can see 100 of them online and make comparisons in brand and price, and also who you're buying it from. You can buy from another business or from an individual. So the major businesses are online using eBay and other platforms to sell their product as if they were retail outlets. In my own business, also, we have set up as, it's called an eBay store. And what it is, it's like a storefront, but online. So people can go just to see what I have to offer and go down the list. So it's like a retail store, only virtual. And you can do that from your basement or anywhere you want. And
Well, that's good for me because I don't know how to work a computer, basically. So if I have something, I come to you.
Yes.
You do it for me, and I guess you
Yes.
get a percentage.
Yes, that's the way it's set up.
You know,
Basically, I have two sites on eBay, two eBay stores, if you will. One is for the items that I do on commission, which is the high-value items I do on a commission basis. The other one is for things that I purchase for resale. I'll do liquidations, I'll buy inventories, Maybe I'll buy a pallet of goods or a truckload of goods and put them online. Or even one or two items from people. Maybe I'll buy a collection. Somebody doesn't want to do a commission, they just want to, sell it right away, I might buy it from them. So there's two. One is cash in your closet for the high-value consignment items, and the other one where it's my own inventory liquidation items is cash in your pocket. So they're separated. So people come to me, they bring their items in typically, and they bring their items, I'll do the research, I'll say, this is what I think it might sell for, this is what the value might be, and then they decide if they want to do it or not, if they're happy with what the outcome might be.
Talking about research,
Yeah.
eBay is a great tool for me personally because I'm into antiques.
Oh, great, yeah.
And I go to the flea markets,
Sure.
and I go to the garage sales. I go up to Lambertville.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember seeing something in Lambertville, and I'm going, what is it, and
Yeah.
what's it worth? I went onto eBay.
Right.
Not only did I find what the item was,
Yeah.
I found out what the item should have looked like. The
Yeah.
one that I saw at Lambertville was missing some crucial
perfect.
parts.
Sure.
So I said, that affects the value. And I was able to see what it was selling for. So when I went to the dealer to talk or negotiate, I could say, listen,
Yeah,
I looked it up. It's worth so much in perfect condition,
yep.
but yours is not in perfect condition. So how can we kind of deal with this?
Yeah.
And to somebody who is a collector, it is just a dynamite way of
Invaluable.
doing
It's invaluable, yeah.
the research. Now, do you personally collect anything? That's
I try not to because there's so many things that come in
Temptation.
that I have to say, no, I can't take this home. Or I don't let my wife see it. That's number one. Especially
Let's not let the
jewelry.
wife see
Yeah,
it.
she can't
Bring it
see
through the back
see
door.
The inventory.
Yeah. I know how that works.
Collectibles. It's a funny thing. I collect surfboards.
Surfboards.
I've been a surfer all my life, and so I have
Wow.
a garage full of surfboards. So those I have a weakness for. Yeah,
What is the most expensive surfboard right now that you could kind of get? It would be the Rembrandt of surfboards.
Well, they go back, not necessarily the ones that I have, they go back to the very old ones that were made strictly out of wood rather than the fiberglass ones now. And they go back, when you can go back to the early 1900s in Hawaii when they were made there out of balsa wood and redwoods and things. Those are invaluable. They're hard to find. They're in museums mostly, so you can't just go find them normally. But I've got a number of them. I've got my original one that I bought when I was 18.
Wow.
It's still hanging on the wall in the
Great.
garage down at the beach, and that's increased in value very nicely. Actually, there's a good market for them.
Now, as a surfer, is there a difference between a fiberglass and a wood when you surf?
Yeah.
What is the difference when
The
you're out
buoyancy
there?
is different in maneuverability. And carrying it to the beach at my age is easier with a fiberglass one.
I imagine that is.
That's a big difference, yeah. So it's a nice thing. If I see those online or if I see one come in, I don't resell them. I just put
Just
them in the
grab.
garage.
How many do you have in your collection?
Well, right now, the ones that have any value, I've got about a dozen that have collectability, and they are all different sizes and shapes and things,
That's great. No?
But you can find what eBay and the internet has done. It's opened up the world to collectors. Things that you were looking for, couldn't find before. You go online, and 9 times out of 10, you'll find exactly
You'll
what you're
find
looking
it.
for.
It's amazing.
Not necessarily on eBay, but the general internet.
I love it.
And what it's done, it's leveled the playing field for the sellers too, because, in generally speaking, there's whatever you're selling, there's competition. So it finds
for the
the market
consumer,
value.
yeah.
It's great for the buyer because it really gets to the market value. It's what somebody's willing to pay for it.
We got a break for a public service announcement. Should we go surfing and come back?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Maybe come back a little
Especially since I don't
salty.
surf, it's going to be an adventure. But stand by. We are going to be back with Joe with a lot of interesting questions, what you can sell legally and what you can't sell. So don't touch that dial.
After 17 years working as a mason, Mike was laid off. I met him when he came into the library looking for help. He found a job opening, but the application was only online. Mike said he'd spent his entire life around tools, but had never used a computer. I showed him how, and he ended up applying for numerous jobs online. I saw Mike the other day. His new computer skills paid off. He's working again.
New Jersey libraries are transforming lives. Tell us your story.
And we are back. Joe, what's legal and not legal to sell on eBay?
Well, it's certainly, the obvious things are not. I mean, I can't sell firearms because we don't have a license. You can if you have a license, and it gets a little sticky when you're shipping beyond state lines. So unless it's from before 1896, I believe, then you can, because then it goes into the antique.
Right.
As long as it's not usable any longer. But anything else illegal for anybody that's not. Liquor, same thing, can't sell liquor unless you have an interstate liquor license, and you have to go through quite a lot of red tape to sell liquor. Now, interesting story on liquor, I've sold a lot of collectible liquor bottles that happen to have liquor in them.
I was going to say that, yeah.
So the disclaimer is that I would put with the listing is that we are selling the bottle and the contents are non-consumable. And it's a long disclaimer that we have to put in. So I'm able to do that. So I have sold very rare cognacs, but I was selling the bottle.
Just the bottle, right. Clever, 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 clever.
So that is, but anything else?
Ivory, right? You can't do ivory.
That's one thing, yes. That's, again, there are some caveats to that before a certain time, but it's so hard to time place these that I stay away from it. Most people do because eBay will take it down. They'll take it offline. And if you do that too many times, they take your whole business offline.
Don't
So
want
you have
that to happen.
No, it can happen, yeah.
Then you really need the cognac.
They need the cognac.
Now, what's the difference between eBay and Craigslist? What is the difference
Okay.
between the two of them?
It's a funny thing because eBay purchased Craigslist a while
They
back.
did?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I don't know if they've divested since, but
Oh.
actually eBay has purchased, acquired Skype, Craigslist,
Wow.
the others, and PayPal,
Oh,
which they've divested, but they still kind of control
Can we
it.
sell them this show? You think they're
I
interested?
think we could do something.
We could
if
do
we-
that?
yeah.
Okay.
So the things that, I'm
The
sorry. you
difference
asked me-
between eBay and Craigslist.
Oh, Craigslist, right. The Craigslist, it's Wild West, if you know what I mean. You put things online, it's like putting something online on your newspaper that you want to sell. You don't know who's going to be answering it. So there's been some bad reputation for things that have happened on Craigslist. However, in saying that, it's still a good place to sell household items locally if you want. You just have to be somewhat careful with it. eBay over the years has built-in safeguards to protect the seller and the buyer.
For instance, what would be?
Well, there's a feedback program, meaning that whenever you buy something from buy or sell on eBay, you can add a feedback as to whether your experience was a good experience or you had trouble. So if a seller has enough negative feedbacks, people won't buy from them any longer, and eBay will actually take them offline. They'll give them warnings.
Oh, that's good.
And take them off. So there's very tight, and it's tough to keep your eBay feedback high. You have to really be diligent about it as a seller. And also as a buyer, you can give the buyer bad feedback too, and after a while, sellers won't sell to that buyer. So it's kind of an honor system in the sense that self-monitoring, but it's worked very well.
Now, with eBay, there's a charge, and with Craigslist, there's not a charge.
Exactly,
Is that another difference between the two of them?
That's the big difference.
The big difference.
Craigslist is basically virtually free. You just have to take some pictures, do a little write-up, and put it online.
Now, I've noticed on television
Uh-huh.
a couple of new apps for phones. One is
Yes.
called Wallapop, and the other is Close 5.
Yes.
How is that affecting, eBay?
It hasn't yet, but now that you see the advertising, if people haven't seen the advertising, what it is, if I may, if you've seen the advertising and
I
see how
have.
it works, and I've tried it, and I've done it, and it's very simple. You have a phone, you want to sell that piece, you just
Okay.
take a picture of it right on your phone. You take a picture, and then you can speak the description.
Oh, you can?
You'll speak the description, so anybody that's interested in what you're selling can listen to your voice and hear the description live if it's recorded.
Oh, how cool is that?
And you hit the button, it doesn't cost anything, and if they're interested, they contact you, and it's meant for a small radius of customers. So you're dealing with, I wouldn't say neighborhood, but say within 10 miles of what you're selling, because right now it's free. I can't imagine it's going to stay that way too long, but they're gonna make some impact on normal eBay type businesses, because it's so simple, it's free, and
The simplicity is great for someone like me. You
It's
know, you don't
fantastic,
have to go on a
yeah.
computer and figure
Nope.
out step one,
It's all on
step
your
two. You
phone.
know, you speak into it and you can go like that.
and it's
That's
done.
terrific.
And you put a price on it, and people contact you. Now, the difference is that's meant, as I say, for a small area.
Mhm.
The beauty of eBay and Amazon and the ones like that, those platforms, it's worldwide. It's seamless. If I want to sell things in Japan, I want to sell them in Europe, I can do that.
That's good.
Now, you know, the novice seller may not want to do that. It gets a little tricky covering your expenses to ship overseas. But the beauty of it is it's universal, it's worldwide. And the marketplace, the number of eyes that you can put on your product isn't duplicated by any other way.
That's
And-
right. Now, you know, you read a lot about scams,
Yeah.
you know. Tell us about some of the scams that the guy, you have to be wary of when you go into eBay.
You do, and that's one of the reasons why I've been able to build a business, because people are afraid of those scams. And
Exactly.
we've seen most of them, so I can spot them right away, generally speaking, but there's new ones every day.
I bet.
Probably one of the oldest is somebody will buy something, get it, write back and say, it's not as described, I want to
Right.
return it. And if it's not as described, you have to you have to take it back, or
Right.
eBay. And what they do is they send back a box of bricks,
Ah.
or you know, something heavy. So when you receive it, you sign for it. Once you sign for the box that's coming back, that's it. You're done. You open it up, and it's not what you sent. And there's no way you can get your money back or your item back at that point. So that's one of the scams. The other one, in the beginning, people used to, were before PayPal and things like PayPal, where it's electronic payments, which are secure. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
too.
talk about that.
Before the advent of PayPal, where people were confident in using it, people used to send checks and money orders. And of course, checks you have to be careful with. I used to get quite a few. And of course, I never would ship anything out until I know the check would clear. So, but that usually held things up for a week or two before people could get their products, which wasn't good. And money orders, which you would usually think were safe, but I've
You would,
gotten bogus money orders too from
Wow.
overseas and things. So you get burned once and you hope not to get burned twice. So those are some of the scams that kind of gone away now. Now it's people that get something, not so much scams, but will get them, and they're so used to being able to bring things back to a retail store, you know, they'll accept things years from now, some of the better stores, where they say, well, I changed my mind, you know, buyer's remorse, and they want to send something back. Not necessarily a scam, and if you write the description properly and disclose anything that's wrong with the product and your research and your description, buyer's remorse can be a problem, because they can just say it's not as described. And if a buyer puts not as described, eBay will back the buyer and always rule in favor of them if there's a dispute. So as a seller, I've come across that many times. That's a common occurrence. Before I sell something, I look at the feedback, the buyer's feedback, to see whether they've caused other problems, and if there's a trend with that. And if so, then I'll steer clear of it. So I usually can see what scams coming before they happen.
Well,
generally.
20,000 sales. I mean,
seen most
you
of them.
become an expert, right?
Yeah.
Now, just what is PayPal and how does that protect you from the
Okay,
scams?
yeah. PayPal is just a secure way of transferring monies between customers, between buyers and sellers. So when I sell something to a buyer, probably 98% of what we sell is paid through PayPal. You pay PayPal as a buyer, the money goes to PayPal, it sits there until I ship something out and I can prove it's been shipped, and then the money can be released to me. Now, if the buyer has a problem after he receives it, he can go back to PayPal and put a dispute in, saying it isn't as described, it's broken, whatever, and then PayPal will protect the buyer. Buyer protection, they're called.
Something like American Express would do.
Exactly, yeah,
Similar,
that's a good
yeah,
way
yeah.
it is basically the same way. So now it's being recognized as a very secure way of doing business, not only for eBay, but you can use it for almost anything. I can send something out outside of eBay. Let's say I just have a customer that's buying directly from me. I can send an invoice through PayPal, and he pays through PayPal, and it's secure. And it works very, very well now. It's very secure, and it's matured. So now it's recognized that people are confident in it.
Now, Tell us a little about how people can get in hold of you, how they can, and work with you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Tell us a little about how the contact and how we can do that.
Well, when I had the retail operation, which was in Milburn, people would just walk in, and but what I do is I do home evaluations. So if you're moving, this is typical on a daily basis, the phone calls that come in daily. People are downsizing. They've got a good-sized house. They're moving into a 4-room apartment. What do I do with everything? They've got some nice collections. They've got some nice artwork, whatever. And it's just overwhelming for them, and it can't bring it to me, so I go to them. It's a free service. I look at what they're thinking about liquidating, and I tell them what I think is worthwhile putting online and what things just won't sell for enough to do. And I give them some direction with items. We do that, and all the way through, I can do it all the way through to sorting out the items for them, telling them what we can do, putting it online, selling it for them, and what have you. And if they're downsizing, we can even help them in their move outside of eBay business. I'm a realtor also, so I can sell their house for them.
I love it. You
help
sell
buy
the
something
contents
else.
and sell the house.
All the way
It's great.
through. We have a design, my wife has a design business, so she can
Hey.
design stage the house for sale.
It's
And also
great.
help them move in and relocate them. So anyhow, we're creating a package for people. So much of the business now is people downsizing. It's probably more than
Yes, I know.
60%. But have nice items that they've collected all their lives. And it's funny, the next generation just doesn't want the old china and the silver and the
That's
and
the sad part,
collectibles
isn't
and
it? Yeah.
the porcelains and the beautiful items. So I'll find homes for them.
I know at one time Hummels were worth a lot of money, and my
Yes.
mother-in-law had Hummels,
Sure.
and now they're worth practically nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trends are up and down and up. It's
Well,
as bad as the stock market.
Well, Hummel's almost like a commodity. What has happened is Hummels were in every household in the 50s, even the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Every household had Hummels, given as presents, whatever, and people started to collect them. What happened now when that generation is downsizing and moving on, all these collections hit the open market. So what happened, it flooded the market, not just Hummels, but things like it, which drives the price down because it's supply and demand. So that's why you find the little Hummels that are worth, $5 and $10. But there are Hummels that I've sold for thousands of dollars
Wow.
because they're rare, they were limited editions, and they were large. And the same thing goes for Yadro pieces, which are the beautiful porcelain.
Yes.
The larger, intricate pieces sell for very good money, many thousands of dollars.
Lalique is still pretty hot,
Lalique
isn't it?
is very good.
That's
That's
pretty
a
good.
solid name, and it sells very well. It holds its value. Lalique, Baccarat, Steuben, things like that, they hold value, and they're still highly collectible.
Anything hot right now in the market?
I find watches. We do a lot of watches. There's always a good market for vintage watches. They're holding the prices. Things like Lionel trains.
So I collect them.
Oh, you do?
I
So
do.
you know, that's great. I always love dealing with Lionel
Yeah.
trains from the 50s and 60s, if they're in good
Right.
condition, even if you don't have the boxes. I've sold just empty boxes for hundreds of dollars.
You see my collection.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we're out of time. We're out of
Oh,
time.
really?
It's time
Oh,
on to
that's
here.
so
We're
much
out of
more.
time.
So much
Anyway,
more, yeah.
Joe Zonfrilli,
Not really, that's great.
thank you so much.
Very welcome.
And
My
real
pleasure.
quick, eBay, how can they contact you?
Well,
Have an
it's Cash in
email or
Your
a...
Closet, probably. They can go to Cash in Your Closet.
Okay.
Search for that, or Cash in Your Pocket, or just call me. I could.
Terrific. And I know you're on the internet too.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
great. You got anything to sell? Joe's the guy. Thank you so much. This is
Terrific.
Mike Sobel saying good night to you, and especially to you.